let Tuhin Sinha respond to Ashutosh's charge about playing the victim card, constantly looking for an opportunity to other the other and to make it seem as if Hindus khatre mein hai and to play the victim card, which, given the material facts on the ground of a massive majority for a government that is pro-Hindutva, is factually incorrect, and yet they like to play the victim card. Tuhin Sinha.
Well, good evening, Rahul. Good evening, everybody. The fact is, Honorable Prime Minister Modi ji had left his home, had quit his familial responsibilities at a very young age to sacrifice himself completely to the cause of the nation. So at this point of time, if somebody makes a jibe at him, and that too, a jibe which calls him familyless, it strikes a chord with all his supporters, with everybody who stands with him. So, I don't know why, he's being called a victim. He certainly, but then, the way he has been vilified from 2006, even before that. But from 2007 onwards, Sonia Gandhi's Maut Ka Saudagar onwards, I think every Congress leader and every opposition leader feels that his claim to fame or his day in the sun comes by attacking Modi ji. And yes, we have found out a way to give it back to them. Modi ka Parivar is 140 crore people. And when I say Modi ka Parivar, look at there are reasons why people want to be counted as his Parivar. When at this age, when he works till 3:30 in the morning and then starts his day again at 8:30, it shows a certain vocation which no other political leader has. Certainly not the likes of Lalu Yadav, whose son is accused of, acquiring a bungalow for 4 lakh instead of 150 crore, which is the worth of that bungalow. And who are the Parivar of some of the opposition parties? I mean, Mamata Banerjee's Parivar seems to be Sheikh Shahjahan.
So now let Mohan Kumar Mangalam respond to this, because the perspective from the opposition lens seemed to be that the narrative isn't taking shape in any one concrete way. The opposition leaders are firing these little jibes, each of them in their own regional context, attacking in Bihar Lalu for his Parivarwad, which is actually just the most absurd thing to say about him, because he doesn't have family, doesn't have empathy. I mean, most sensible people won't agree with that. You've got in Tamil Nadu a situation where the DMK leader A. Raja is attacking the Prime Minister, attacking Ram Rajya, attacking Bhagwan Ram in a way that it's not connect. It always seems to be putting the opposition on the defensive rather than taking an attack to put the government on the defensive, because of these little half missiles fired without thinking it through. Is the opposition not being able to build a cogent narrative? Mohan Kumar Mangalam.
So Rahul, first I'll say that the soft-coated Maut Ka Saudagar government that came way back then was, I don't think, the only reason that we lost that election. There were several other reasons. Also, I'll say that Mr. Modi himself has lowered the level of discourse several times over by saying 50 crore ki girlfriend, Jersey guy, Shehzad, Yuvraj, what have you. He doesn't shy away from taking personal jibes at the opposition or the leaders of the opposition. Now, I'll disagree with Ashutosh here, because I don't think this is about playing the victim. I think the central idea of Mr. Modi's argument is that because he doesn't have a family, he has no desire to accumulate ill-gotten gains because he has nobody to pass those gains on to. And frankly, it's a powerful argument, except if you look at the fact that there are several other reasons people accumulate assets. The chief amongst them are those to expand one's power and influence. In that sense, Mr. Modi has been the most expansionist and power-hungry seeking prime minister we've ever seen. He's used his and his friends' ill-gotten gains to not only grow organically in places that BJP never existed, but also acquire assets from his competitors in that space. So, and because we're talking in political stock exchange, I'll continue with a business analogy here, or a markets analogy, and say that free markets only work when everyone has equal information and equal access to capital. But where the government here, Mr. Modi's government, is the only one who's had information about everyone else's capital source, which is the electoral bonds, and is making sure even today that nobody in the opposition or nobody in the public knows
but while the Congress is raising this issue, Mohan Kumar Mangalam, the fact also is, no, once again, hear what I'm saying. The Congress is raising this issue. You could make it a big issue and see whether it connects with voters, but allies aren't. So Lalu Yadav is one of your few allies who's left. The DMK is still with you. They're not talking the same language. The point that I'm making is that the India Alliance is speaking in disparate voices. It's not coming together in any meaningful fashion in one campaign. You're not all saying the same thing. Now, when Modi decides Modi ka Parivar, everyone goes the whole hog on that.
Everyone in the BJP goes whole hog on that, Rahul. But I don't know if first of all, who are the BJP's alliance partners? I don't think they've sealed up an alliance deal with anybody yet. I have not seen a seat sharing agreement with anybody been announced yet. let's assume it does happen, then you will see that if they also toe the same line or not. When you have alliance partners, especially in states that have strong regional identities, those leaders will talk the language that they think is going to convert votes for them in this election. You don't all have to follow the same thing. And again, the India Alliance is an alliance of many leaders. Many of them are equals, and there are some who would consider themselves first among equals. So all of them want to contribute to the narrative. It isn't like Mr. Modi's alliance or the NDA, which really is just Mr. Modi and several little unknown parties that might or might not toe the line, depending on what comes out in the seat sharing.